And I hope you can hear me okay with your headsets and everything is ready to go. Yeah? Good. Thanks so much. My name is Wolfgang Hall. I'm with Optimize and I'm going to talk about nonprofit website and event management with a particular case study. So on the agenda today, the topics are nonprofits in the United States, a case study particular about a customer I worked with, which is the California Association for Play Therapists, also short CalAPT, and some of the challenges that they had before they started with Odoo, then the migration to Odoo 16, and the new system, what it is, what it all entails, and the benefits of the system, plus then also a little bit of an outlook, but that is what we're going to talk about today. I hope this is what you expected. Is that right? Okay, great, thank you. All right, let's talk about nonprofits in the United States. Those who are familiar with the United States know that there are a ton of nonprofits. We have about 1.5 million nonprofit organizations. So that makes it actually one of the largest industries, if we can call it that, in terms of employment, in terms of being an employer. So there are probably only two other ones that are larger than nonprofits in the United States. And the majority of those nonprofit organizations are not even employing people, they're actually volunteer-based. They have very small budgets, often below $100,000 a year. But because of the sheer numbers, it's still a really valid market for an application, business application-based systems like Odoo, because there are about 150,000 organizations that are still a great match for for deploying Odoo and having that system actually going into a new direction with many apps and a lot of capabilities that nonprofits really can profit from in a non-monetary way, and also, of course, have all the apps that they need. So let me dive in and show you a few stats. For those who can see it, hopefully it's not too small. You can see on the left that a lot of the organizations are small. They are really don't even have any tax reported expenses. Only about 20% are over $100,000 a year, and then you can see the percentages. So maybe about 45% of the organizations are even worth considering for something like Odoo. And I want to say that if you are less than $100,000 a year as an organization, you probably also don't need Odoo because the overhead is just too big. But there is a significant market, like I said earlier, about 150,000 organizations that actually would benefit from that technology. And then you can see on the right side that we have nonprofits that are in that larger area of employment. So retail, manufacturing are the largest one, but then nonprofit is the third one, even before professional services. Now these numbers are from 2015. They have changed maybe slightly, but it's still significant. So let's get into this particular case study that I want to present, which is on CalAPT, the California Association for Play Therapy. And that's their current website. This is based on Odoo 16.3. And what CalAPT does is they help therapists and social workers and psychiatrists to learn about therapy using play for small children. So small children, particularly those that have mental health issues, benefit greatly from having a play-based therapy session. And what this organization here does is they have classes and teach other professionals how to do this properly so that they can then use these skills in play therapy to help the kids, which is an awesome non-profit based then we're also doing something for society at a larger level, even than just focusing on business. So that was my motivation, and that's why I'm working with these guys here. But you can see that they also, California Association of Play Therapy is purely volunteer-based, which means they actually don't have any staff other than some accountants that they hire on to do the books and other things. So it's a very small organization. So the challenges that CalAPT had was that they had or they have frequently hosted events and classes, and the organization struggles a lot, or struggled before they started with Odoo, a lot with a mix of applications. So they had a WordPress website and high hosting fees. They also had a whole stack of other tools that they used, including some email, social marketing tools. And overall, they didn't have the staff to really maintain this whole system, which was a problem for them. I'm going to get a little bit into some of the remaining challenges, but not having the IT people was also a reason why they didn't want to go with Odoo SH or a self-deployed solution, or even Odoo Community was not a good fit, because somebody needs to maintain community for them. So they couldn't do that. So they decided to really go and use Odoo Enterprise. So let me go to the vision that they had. The vision was that they wanted to consolidate all these tools into one stack of business applications. And like I said, they decided on Odoo Enterprise, and they wanted to go with version 16, the newest version available at the time, and really consolidate all these disparate tools, allow for an ease of setup, and also reduce overall cost, and then give quick access to the board of directors and their volunteers. So that was really the mission for them. Then when they started with the migration to Odoo, how did they actually learn about Odoo? Well, there's this gentleman, Ray Carnes, who is actually one of the well-known Odoo consultants, and he, through some personal relationships, basically let them know that Odoo could be a good solution for them, and they looked at this and liked it, and then worked with me and the Optimize team to basically fill the gaps that they couldn't do as an IT, well, because they didn't have much IT on their organization. But they also really liked the price point of Odoo and the capabilities and the fact that they didn't have to maintain an IT stack. So the new system, the results of the new system was that there's a new website that was ported over from WordPress. And when I say ported over, it wasn't really anything fancy in terms of technical portation. It was me putting a new website together that just looked like the old one. But it was amazingly easy, because with the 16 tools in Odoo, it was really simple to put the website together, and I think it looks better than the WordPress website, and has actually much easier way to maintain it for them. So they have a person on staff now that maintains the website, and I just taught them how to do it, and they maintain the website, which is awesome. So we did some minor studio modifications, and I can show you a few of those and why we did those, because their workflow was that you take an event registration, and the event registration then moves into a course registration, and the course registration then allows them to issue certificates to their attendees. So people register on site on an event, then it becomes an e-learning course, and then it basically issues certificates. One challenge that we had was that they were on a system that really didn't allow us easily to set up the DNS servers. So those that are familiar with the technical setup on that, if you really want to do the domain and the So you usually have www dot something, but sometimes people use that domain. We call it sometimes the naked domain. So they use it without the www, and you need a DNS server that you can point in the right direction. That was not possible. So we actually, after getting some advice from the help desk team, the Odoo help desk team, we decided to use Cloudflare, which is a nice intermediate tool, and it also protects the site from attacks. So Cloudflare is a tool that we plugged in. It's a free account, so it's always good. And I was really appreciative of the Odoo team helping us through this, because we got stuck there at one point, since we wanted to reuse the existing domains. We didn't want to purchase it through Odoo, because that was already existing prior. Anyway, so that worked pretty well. So the results, if you can see this is a typical event page. So this is nothing customized here. But then when people register for an event, or when they click on an event, they see the event page. And those that have used events before know that you have templates. Part of the web page that pulls up here is actually fixed. So the upper portion, which you can't see because I just scrolled down, and the right portion, which has the event registration details. You see Saturday, September 16th. So that portion is all canned, and it's part of the standard Odoo template. But then the customized part that we save as a template is the one on the left, where you see workshop description, presenter, learning objectives, schedule, continuing education details. And they have this on all their events, so they replicate this from one event to the other by simply using that one template that they created and replicating that throughout. So it's a nice mix of Odoo out of the box and then some templates that can be reused without any customization. So that was nice. Odoo allowed us to do that. But then we're getting into an area where we had to do a little bit customization. So the attendees, like I said, that register need to actually have the ability to get into e-learning and certificates. So on this page, you see an event setup on the back end. And I'm not going to explain all the things because you probably already know them, but just to point out, there's of course an attendee list here, 81 attendees that attended this, and then you have, then you have below the tickets. In this case, it was a free ticket, but another thing that drove them to use Odoo was the fact that they can have discounts. So they have different levels of tickets. So you can have tickets for members, tickets for non-members, tickets for students, and they all have different price points. And the discounts that are available were really beneficial. So they liked that a lot. And now we're going into the customizations. What did we do to make this streamlined? We used Odoo Studio, and Odoo Studio was really didn't require a lot of deep developer experience. So we wanted to minimize customizations, because whenever you customize something, it lives on forever, and every migration you have to worry about that. So it's actually good not to customize if you can avoid it. In this case, we made some few changes. The automated actions that you can deploy in Odoo, and now even easier than in 16. 17 has huge improvements, as we have seen earlier today. So the automated actions allows us to create a new portal user whenever somebody registers. So we wanted to have everybody that registered also as a portal user, so they can manage their e-learning experience. And we created those, or we're triggering the creation of users automatically if they're not already a user. And with that, we can then guide them through the portal and give them access to e-learning and certificates. But we also have the ability, if they attended the course, to actually mark them as attended. That is a standard feature, but then also mark them as ready for certification, which is a little customization that we build in. And I'll show you what that looks like. And then we added some fields to allow for specialized certificates. So let me show you what this is. Over here, you see on the top row, marked as attending, which is the standard feature, but then we added that unlock certificate feature, because our events are now linked through the automation to e-learning and certificates. The other thing we did is, you can see here, this is a standard course that has actually is set up to do a quiz, and the quiz has a certification. So this is how a course is linked to certificates. And in this case then, we're going to the certificate page, and we added some fields. Let me point those out. So we added a certification date, the contact type, whether it's an online or in-person webinar. We added the presenter, so the actual, it could be one or more people. We added something called CE, that's certificate units, that's specific for this customer. They have either usually 2 or 6 units that people earn when they get certified. And then there's something, the APA approval, that's a special organization, that's a national organization. If you basically follow certain guidelines, you can get that APA approval, and that is good for the people for continuous learning. They are, for their professional careers, need to have those certificates as a psychiatrist or as a therapist. And then you can see a few other things like a signature field that we added. And at the end, the certificate that comes out of that has some fields that are driven by those different checkboxes. So if I look, you see it's 2.0 contact, by, presented by. So these are fields that are automatically filled into the certificate, which is a very good thing for them to present it with the right language. Also, the fine print here is very important for them. You can't probably read it, but it is basically the fact that they're certified by this organization, by the national organization, and this all together was not very hard to do, because the QWeb templates are easily modifiable, and this is used to streamline this whole certification process. So one last thing that we customized a little bit is we use the usual account homepage. When you log in and you click on my account, you see something like this on the right, but you don't see all of the links to your, what you usually see is you see invoices and sale orders and projects. But so what we added here is we have registration for events, orders, certificate, and also it's just a little bit nicer organized and linked for them so that they can quickly find their way without getting lost, because we want to make sure they can find their existing certificates and they know where their courses are that they signed up for. Well, so nothing particular far away from the regular use of Odoo, but some small details that makes it easier for people that are not really experts to quickly get to their information. So benefits and Outlook. So MailChimp was the technology they used. That's basically off the table. They don't have to pay for MailChimp anymore. They can do everything through email marketing. So Odoo's email marketing, if you're familiar with it, it allows you to send out emails to a larger number of people, and you have to gain a little trust if you use the online platform with the Odoo team, and you can ask for email increases. So right now this organization, I think, can send out 1,000 emails with one email set, and as you mature and get that confidence, you can increase that as well. The system is a lot faster, it's very performant. Even though it's not on 17, 16 was already pretty good. So the new events and associated website landing pages are basically all volunteer-based, maintained, and that works well. And the other thing that works is Stripe integration was really easy to set up. Ticket sales now include all the necessary discounts, like I said, student and other discounts. So it was very, very powerful for them to have that out of the box and not have to worry about payments. So the other thing is we made it easy for the course participants to log into their portal and get their certificates and see where they need to go. And we actually had one small little, I want to say it was a good thing that you can easily migrate from 16.2 to 16.3 because the Odoo online platform makes it fairly easy to move to the next version. But there was, just because of the customization, a small change in the templates that then broke something and we had to fix it. And this is why I said we try to avoid any customizations, even though, of course, for me it's business to go in and make changes. I don't like to do that because I feel for the customer that just wants a system to transition smoothly. And once we customize something, there's just no guarantee that it's not broken somewhere in that next migration process. Even though I must say that the transition was super smooth, and also the support we got, even though we're a small organization here with this customer, the Odoo help desk team was great to support us throughout. So now we have this running in 16.3, and everybody is really working well with the system. So we are up and running. It has been stable or running since June, and just the speed in which everything transitioned over was something that made people really appreciative. So we got really, really good reviews. The customer was very happy, which I think would have been much more difficult with any other platform. So in summary, it was a big success in terms of scope, maintainability, and cost. And it was also a good success because it's so responsive. It consolidated everything just as we had planned. And now they can scale their events at a much better rate. They still have one problem, and that is that you still need some IT person or IT savvy person to maintain the website and other things. They lost one of their people that did that, and that's tricky in a volunteer organization because you have more of a churn, more of a turnaround in those areas. And you can of course rely on it the same as in a professional organization. So they're actually still in touch with me to help them once in a while. I don't do much for them, but that is something that will probably, they need somebody there to help them. So whenever you plan a site, you will have to find a trusted Odoo expert somewhere that can help you. Doesn't need to be me, there's just a few thousand around here. So, and it's all for a good cause, so that makes this a fun project for me. And hopefully if you're planning something like this, you see a smooth migration and the benefits just as these guys did. Well, this is basically what I wanted to talk about. I don't know how we do Q&A and answers and questions. All right, there we go. Hey.
For the presentation.
Yes.
Normally we would have a pad where people could write their questions down.
Oh yes, I had this.
Do you have the QR code where people can scan?
I do. Oh, I would have to put this up. Hold on.
If you can put it on the screen so people can scan a QR code, then they can post their questions. Then we just wait 1 minute.
Okay. So let me disconnect you for a sec. Oh. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
My
apparently
bad.
there is no time to wait for the QR code.
And the QR code, but you know, send me an email at whall@optimize.com with questions, or just meet me out there. I'm going to be out there.
Okay, perfect, Wolfgang. Thank you again for the presentation, and enjoy the rest of the Odoo experience, everyone.
All right, see you.